Hey everyone, Cilantro here. This is a playthrough of Ragequit Holidays, and it's got a little bit of an interesting twist to it. I'll let that reveal itself when that moment occurs, but I just want to say special thanks to Etho, who I'll link down there in the description, for inspiring me with the technique that I'm going to use to beat this map. Um, there's a few things that I've kind of discovered about block updates and all that kind of thing, all those kind of things that have really helped in these adventure style maps, and this one's definitely no exception. I'll come up here in a minute. This is going to be showing off the first sort of advanced technique that I use in this map. Um, right here. So what I do is I break the chest, and as soon as the chest breaks, I place a torch. That means that there's no block update. I unfortunately lost the chest, but I don't actually need it. And then right here, I do the same thing, but break the torch, place the sand. Using the sand, I put torches on either flank of it, which support the blocks in the middle, which I can then harvest. So I end up with 6 sand, and theoretically I'd end up with a chest as well, but you only really need about, I think, 5. I guess 6 blocks is probably best. So anyway, yep, platforming through here. I'm doing an audio dub over of the entire thing. You won't hear any game audio through this because I had a massive audio desync while recording for whatever reason. I got it all in one take, but it is edited down a little bit because otherwise the video would just drag on, and I'm not even sure if I'll be able to get the commentary right with this anyway. um, but yep, just doing these platforming techniques. It took me a couple takes to get this, but you know, it is a hardcore map and it is fairly difficult. So here is the second technique that I use for this map. We tower up here, and then we build ourselves a bridge out of signs. 2 blocks beneath the lip there. Decided not to get rid of my knockback sign, even though I end up never using it during the map. But yep, just build yourself a bridge of signs. You can place signs on signs. They can be placed on surprisingly large amount of blocks, really. Now, if one of those signs were to be destroyed, the entire thing would fall. But it's not really a concern here. And then just make yourself another sand tower on the other side, and that will allow you to continue the bridge of signs. You have to be really careful that you don't accidentally walk too far, or you'll end up falling off. I might be wondering what this bridge of signs is actually going to accomplish, and well, you'll see here in a minute as I finish it up. I'm going to go ahead and gather up my sand and make my way across. Now, the jumping technique I use here, I mean, obviously this is a straight jump, but the sideways jumps, I've seen people do this a number of ways, and I've always found the most success doing the strafe jump. I don't know, I just got comfortable with how that works. And right there, just to be on the safe side, I decided to use the sand block. I think you can make that jump without it, and yeah, right there, I almost over jumped that. My heart was beating at this point, absolutely pounding. But almost up to where I need to be. I've got 3 sand left, which is just enough. And you can place signs on signs, and you can also place blocks on signs. So I'm sure you can kind of tell what's going on here. I'm just going to bridge across, and this I almost messed up there. I almost reached too far out to try to place the next block, and I think I would have fell had I done that. But just speeding up the video here. No reason to show all this. It's basically me running along the outside edge, and here we are at the Victory Monument area. You're provided with some resources here. You have some armor. I'm going to go ahead and grab this chest here. And you're also provided with some combat tools in this chest right here. These end up being pretty useful. We'll never need all that leather or anything like that, but nice to have it, I suppose, just in case. It's kind of interesting because you could actually make this into a sort of a skyblock survival. If you pour lava onto the ice, you can actually create a cobblestone generator and make cobblestone. I didn't bother to do that since it's unnecessary, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Getting my inventory sorted around here real quick, and we're going to be speeding up the video again. Just bypassing a little idea I had that I was going to punch the spawner out, which ended up not being really worth my time. So at the very very end of the map here, you are given one last little platforming challenge. I don't have enough blocks to be able to surpass this quite yet, So you have to just run around the outside edge with a bunch of blaze and gas spawners behind you. I decided to kill the gas here because I want to make sure I keep the gas numbers relatively low because obviously I have no wool yet. I have to go back to get the wool. So I'm trying to keep as many gas or the gas population as low as possible. Here one spawns right in front of me. Always intimidating. And I've already got a second one to deal with, so as soon as I get around the corner here, I'll have to watch out for that. But my goal for the next area is just to get enough blocks to be able to bypass the platforming challenges. Now, before anyone gets too critical of me, I actually have made it to the second wool, and I've made a few attempts on the third wool, completely legit. I mean, not that this is a cheating run by any means, but obviously it's not exactly what Vex intended. So I do have the ability to eventually maybe brute force this the way it's really supposed to be done, quote unquote. But I thought this solution was rather creative, so I'm just gonna gather up a bunch of resources here. There's a good like 10 minutes of audio or video here that I'm gonna cut because it's just me gathering resources and waiting for the transition. So we're just gonna get right back into the action. If you can see over in the corner of the video there, I actually dropped some water. You get a single water block from a chest in the backside of the tree, which I use to safely descend and avoid having to do the platforming challenge again. And now I'm just going to go collect the wool. I've got all the resources from the Nebra area. I chopped a little bit of the tree up. I grabbed some dirt, and going to go through here. Now this is a really interesting area in the actual map. A platforming challenge with furnaces on it. Now the interesting part here, for me at least, is furnaces and crafting benches make for very interesting platforming sections because you can't place blocks on them. Now, in the case of the very wall, you can of course place blocks on the wall itself, so that part of the challenge is slightly moot. But the other areas of the challenge, certainly a very interesting concept, and I would be interested to see if there are any other adventure maps that make use of furnaces or crafting benches or chests even as a way to force a player to do a platforming challenge. I tend not to be a big fan of platforming challenges because they penalize players too aggressively for what can often be problems with the control scheme of Minecraft. For example, I'm not a fan of the fact that you have to double tap forward to sprint. I would much rather have an actual sprint key, which you do not have in Minecraft. And a lot of times with those platforming challenges, one false sprint will ruin your chances of succeeding. So, trying to snipe out the last of these ghasts here. Find them quite annoying, and I usually play in a wider FOV, so my aim's a little off, but they are dodgy, crafty little fellows. So I decided, instead of going on the outside edge on the back side of the map, that I will instead tunnel through the lava curtain here. The reason I do that is because there's a lot of gas spawners in the third leg of this map, and I decided it wouldn't be a very good idea to deal with those. Also, keeping in mind safety first here, I decided to hop on a higher elevation before I destroy these blocks, which ends up being a good idea because apparently the lava decided it wanted to leak out. So just spending some time to make myself a dirt tunnel through here. This will help me. This will again let me bypass the entire third wing of the map. And unfortunately, with these blocks, it tends to be kind of a pain in the butt. Lava's very sticky block to deal with. A lot of times you really have to be careful about where you let it flow. I've had many occasions, I'm sure most of you have as well, where you think you have some area secure from lava, and then all of a sudden it leaks through somewhere else. And it can last a very long time even without a source block. Kind of a pain to deal with, but yep, just breaking through the cage here. I was really nervous at this point. I mean, one skelly shot could have put this entire thing, uh, in the gutter. But I looked over and saw there really weren't any skeletons there, so it ended up not being that big of a deal. And there's just a simple bridge here to get my second wool. I've broken up many a fleecy box in my day. Completed most of Vex maps. He's a brilliant map designer, and I do plan on trying to play this map some more now that I know what the map looks like a little bit more, um, I would really like to beat it, quote unquote, legitimately. Um, Honestly, the first and second parts are really not that difficult, and we're speeding the video up again since it's just me running here. Um, but the first and second parts are really not that difficult. It's the third part that'll get you. And once you've gotten past the third part, honestly, the fourth part is a piece of cake. Um, just put the armor on. You can basically sprint all the way up to the victory monument and ignore everything else. Not really a big deal at all. But it's certainly a neat map concept, you know, a mini hostile, just a little mini game type thing. I mean, I really do believe this is Vec's first truly ROM hack hard map. I mean, Nightmare Realm and Legendary were both fairly challenging maps, um, but they weren't. I wouldn't say they were true ROM hack hard maps. Nightmare Realm came a little closer because of the bed type thing, where if you don't have a safe bed to spawn in, you die, you lose. Um, but overall, I think they were definitely good maps, and all the maps that he's made are um, a lot of fun. And again, I do feel kind of bad for having cheesed this slightly, but being it's so difficult. I mean, if you've ever played a game like I Want to Be the Guy, or I'm trying to think of some other examples of ROM hack hard games. I mean, some people would consider Super Meat Boy to be just as difficult. If you've found a shortcut in that style of game, I mean, you have to take it. You have to take any advantage you can get to be able to succeed in these style maps. I mean, they're just so difficult that anything you can't really consider anything to be an exploit because the developers of these maps and games will usually stretch their creativity to the limit to put the player in some serious peril, no matter what they try to do. So, just gonna speed the footage up again here. Really nervous to fall off of this platform at this point. Um, so I decided to, instead of trying to just straight up jump up there, I'd make myself a little curtain and then put the block down and then make the jump. Just one of those things you have to be really careful when playing this style of game. And after examining this area to be, fairly safe, even though there's a blaze spawner right there, I'm just going to go ahead and tower right up since I have the blocks for it. I felt pretty comfortable at this point. Even if I fell, I could probably eat a gold apple and still be okay. I don't think that's a far enough fall to kill me. And here we are. We are at the victory monument. We have all three wool. So let's go ahead and fire it up. Get these placed on here. And victory monument is complete. Oh, and almost forgot the most important part of the victory monument, the waffles. But that's it. Thank you for watching.